Hello and welcome to episode 72 of the Football Retro Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, and today we're back with a full table. We've got Adasi, Akram, and Fad is back. How you doing, Adasi?
Good. Been a while since we had a full table on the set, so I'm good to have you back. Good to see Fadi back. Been a while.
We missed you, man.
Oh, did you really? Doesn't look like you missed me. That fucking look he's giving me across the
Akram,
table.
did you miss him or not?
Mate, always miss Fatty. Need someone to come in and start, mixing it up, saying something interesting. Sorry,
Mixing it
Darcy, it's
up.
not that you don't say anything interesting.
Yeah, the stats. It's good to be back. It's been a while. Had a little hiatus. I got over the show and they had to convince me to come back and pay me more money. So
Ratings are
we finally agreed a contract.
He did a bit of
And I'm
Mbappe on us.
If that's the case, I'd be changing a lot.
Albanese calling and pressuring him to go somewhere else.
Your mate Perez wasn't happy with...
Look, yeah, he's not happy, and look, but he hasn't kind of closed the door completely on what's happened.
But he's still talking about him. He's still cut.
Yeah, look, they're talking about it, but we've made moves, we've moved on. We've signed Chouameni.
Who's we? You and Perez?
Yeah, very much the club. Yeah. I'm behind the scenes making these transfer deals.
But he's still sending pretty cut, Perez.
Is this what he said? The one thing he said, it wasn't the Mbappe I wanted.
He wasn't the Mbappe I wanted. So he pretty
Yeah.
much shat on the new player.
He's saying like
he means that Mbappe he characterized him as
Yeah.
this boy with a dream who wanted to
And
join Real Madrid.
he
but
understands.
He's turned into a different Mbappe.
He's still a
One
young,
who's more for money.
But how
still
long-
fairly young.
How old's Mbappe?
23,
Okay, and how long did he sign his contract for?
3 years. It's
Still, so he's
It's
gonna
strange.
he's gonna go to Real Madrid in his prime.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
And become a star like Bale and Hazard.
That's exactly right.
From Perez's point of view, I don't think like right now he's given off the impression that he would ever go back for Mbappe. And we talked about this in the
I don't
last
think it's up to
episode.
him. If Mbappe reaches the heights he reaches in the next 3 years, his hand is going to be forced.
He'll be
And he has to
100%.
go begging like a dog, asking for him back, crawling back.
100%.
he'll be
Also-
stat battling in the French leagues, but if he wins the Champions League,
But
Even
also,
if it-
also,
even if he
Fatty,
doesn't-
you are right. Like, especially if Real Madrid are not up at the top of the game in 3 years, 100%. But
If it-
like, you never know. Vinicius becomes like, greatest player of all time. He's gonna say fuck off.
Yeah, but you don't know. You don't know.
No, that's so.
France,
You go either way.
France does well in the World Cup.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's
Yeah.
hope not.
Who knows?
Because it's all about the the optics, eh? Like if Real Madrid are doing poorly, 100% you're gonna go.
Speaking of the World Cup, the Socceroos, the mighty
We
Socceroos,
did
Arnold's
it.
boys.
I think
did it.
I think everybody on this table,
Unbelievable.
everyone on this table had to eat some humble pie.
Look,
We all thought
Graham
that,
Arnold doing it.
we all thought that we would get past the UAE, but we wouldn't get past Peru, and rightfully so, based on the records and based on how,
Gameplay.
It was looking bleak. It was looking
based on who we had to play and who they had to play.
bleak. 100%.
Finishing fifth in South America was no easy feat.
But regardless, the Aussie gameplay before this Peruvian qualifier was disgusting. Watching
I
him
agree.
against
Yeah.
Jordan, watching him against that's what gave you the feeling that it's not going to happen. More than the whole South America Asian thing, to me was the way Australia was playing leading into the qualifier.
I
Yeah,
think-
100%. Like I think, like Fatty's right. Like we might have to eat a bit of humble pie, but at the same time, it was not for illegitimate reasons. Hey, they looked pretty poor. Like the whole thing was looking pretty bleak.
It was, but I must say Peru were quite disappointing in that game. I felt like they were nervous.
That was a shock,
They didn't
eh?
take risks.
You know what?
They were not the same Peru that I've come to see him play.
You know what
to
it
be
is?
honest.
Because when they are the underdog, you play fearlessly. When you're playing Brazil, you play fearlessly because no one's expecting Peru to beat Brazil or to get a result against Brazil. But here, everyone expects that Peru is going to walk it in.
Yeah.
Their media was beating it up. Everyone's talking up. Yeah, Peru.
They're putting all
Peru,
these
Peru.
curses on them too back home.
So absolute, a lot of pressure, and it shows when the team has so much pressure. It eventually tells.
Yeah.
You would think that they would have enough class to get over the line. Clearly not.
And
But
Red
when
Man-
it comes
And you
to-
don't play as the favourites often, and then here you are as maybe not the overwhelming favourites, but certainly the strong favourites.
Yeah.
They played in their head.
And the sub as well from Arnold putting on Andrew Redmayne for Matt Ryan for the
Yeah,
commission.
That paid off.
When I saw that, I was like, "This guy."
And
is fucking
he's become
fine.
famous now. Like
Yeah, he has.
there's constant articles popping up all around the world.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
The
like,
grey wiggle, I call him.
I hate I hate Redmayne for various reasons. Being a fucking Sydney FC player, coming to the Wanderers and then fucking off, being a fucking
We were
hobo.
shit of the Wanderers.
Hobo. It was absolutely junk. So, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm glad. I'm very proud to make the World Cup. Not that we're going to do much, but it's nice to continue the run, qualifying for 5 World Cups. It's crazy. When it was mentioned, I'm like, 5? What are you talking about, 5?
And the
And I
financial
realized,
incentive
like,
as well.
6,
Since
10,
then,
14,
and I'm
18,
like,
this one.
fuck, I didn't realize it was 5. I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah.
Since 2006. 2006 for me seemed like 2 World Cups ago.
I really do hope the culture starts changing.
This is
And
disappointing.
I'll give you an example of why and what I mean by this. In Peru, the president declared a national public holiday for the Australia game, so everyone can watch the game.
Mm.
So the whole country stopped to watch the game.
Yeah.
In Australia, I had students at the school that I work at rock up to school who were part of the football program at the school, not knowing there was a game on that morning.
Wow, that's a big
Yeah.
do or die qualifier.
I'm like, did you watch the game? They're like, which game? Who played?
Yeah, wow.
Australia just qualified to the World Cup. What do you mean
Yeah.
who
In
played?
dramatic circumstances.
And I'm not
Huge,
talking about
that's
random
huge.
people. Just people are part of the football program at the school.
Wow, that's
And that's what I mean by a change of culture. I hope we spoke about this before. About 72,000 people, 75,000 people going to watch Barcelona
yeah.
play in Sydney,
They're
but
going to
three-
fucking put together a team of nobodies.
and 3-4 days later, the A-League Grand Final couldn't sell out half the stadium.
Yeah.
So I hope the culture changes for the better, and I
Yeah.
hope this is a big influence towards that.
Yeah, and then they're obviously at that spot now. They're in Group D, so France, Denmark, deja
Again.
vu from the last World Cup, and then Tunisia, the other team.
So Tunisia, you can get a result out of, and especially if they play like they played against Peru. Because I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like credit to Arnold as much as we don't like him. Credit to Arnold for playing to the Aussie strength.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a few years ago, this Dutch system came in. We wanted to play fancy. We wanted to play the same as the Europeans. When our strengths have always been the physical side of things, the mentality, the Aussie way of playing.
Yeah, battling to the last.
Could have improved, yes, of course. But this game against Peru showed a lot of that. The compact defense at the back. The Moy did well on the board, creating stuff. So a few players that everyone did really well. So you got that individual brilliance, but at the same time, you've got that compact, the fighting, the mentality of we're not going to let you come through. It wasn't pretty football, but it was effective. And that's what you wanted a team like Australia going into the World Cup.
Yeah, you have to do that because we're not technically the most gifted nation when it comes to that. We've got to stop looking at the past because we keep comparing to, the class of 06 and 2010. It's very, very hard. These are generational players, once in a generation. They won't come again. And no disrespect to any of the current players, but it's just not the same level. At the time, 2006, 2010, 2006, I think every single player played in Europe. 2010, the majority played in Europe, and it gradually decreased throughout every World Cup. But that's fine. But we've had enough time to develop our own league, and we've done nothing. So 2006, the A-League had already started in 2005. Qualifying to that World Cup was the first World Cup since 74, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. It was a massive, massive achievement. The advertising, the push at the time, it was in your face constantly. People were jumping on the football bandwagon. The A-League fucking kicked off.
And that was before social media too.
There was massive interest, and it went fucking crazy. We never capitalized on that. We regressed. We've gone backwards, and it's a shame because there was so much potential there. I think they famous the mark with it. I really don't know what they could have done to avoid that, but they sort of just let it slip through the net.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there wasn't much organization, not much long-term vision. You've talked about before with the A-League and how you felt the salary cap has really hurt the competition. And overall, I think just not enough money was being pumped in at the time. No one capitalized and started throwing, significant amount of money. Government didn't back the sport. We've talked about that as well before, that there've been conflicting beliefs and priorities when it comes to football and its development in this country not being a priority for certain politicians and certain bodies of government. So that's what it does, and that's what it is. I think now, in order to ever recapture that enthusiasm, Fatty, you need a couple of players who really make a big
impact.
Big impact. Premier League level players like Harry Kewell, like Viduka.
I think we're also now going to be a victim of complacency because most people now are going to expect that you qualify to the World
that's
Cup
true too.
because now it's 5 in a row.
Yeah.
You would expect that. When you don't, it's going to be, you didn't qualify. That's shit.
And that's going to be 48 teams for the next World Cup.
Oh,
Last World Cup with 32 teams.
So that achievement is slightly diminished. And we did it the hard way this time. We could have comfortably qualified through Asia, and we didn't. We had to go through 2 playoffs. and still made it. So
And it still didn't really capture the nation's attention,
No.
on how tough it was.
no, it
And like
it
Adasi
didn't.
is saying, when it comes to the fact that 48 teams, if a possibly the World Cup ever goes to every 2 years and all that, the specialness of the competition is
It's diminished.
is declining.
You guys are making me angry. You mentioned the 48 teams, the possibility of every 2 years.
It's just
You're going
shit.
about, you know what? Let's start.
You're gonna
But-
have
but-
fucking Australia against Madagascar.
By the way,
and
all
it's
32
fucking-
teams been decided. Costa Rica beating New Zealand, the other one. But there's still a World Cup qualifying match still to be played.
Argentina,
Yes.
Brazil.
First time I think it's happened where all teams decided, but still qualifying's not done.
It's all business. It's all money grabbing.
Wow.
Just play it on FIFA or something. I don't know.
On that note, let's get the show started.
Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
And welcome back on a very special episode.
Yes, it's a
Very special for me.
A special day.
Well, it's special for all of us. Fatty's back, right?
That's right.
Isn't that what you're talking about?
That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Something, yes.
It's my birthday.
Yes.
Today's my birthday, and there's no place I'd rather be than with you guys here.
How old are you now? 39?
No, 35. The big 3-5.
Wow.
That's why.
Wow.
Milestone.
Portrait, there's no place you'd rather be than with us.
I mean, you're in the top 100.
And there goes that.
So,
I just feel sad
middle-
for you, man.
I just
So
think.
everyone-
Is that? Did you re-dye it or?
nah, it's growing out. It's growing
Oh,
out. It's
okay.
leaving.
So you're over the midlife crisis thing now.
The Harley Davidson's next, I think.
Gotcha.
So you can play over 35s now.
That's disgusting. Now I feel old.
You're as close to 40 as you are 30.
That's true. Thanks for
No,
that.
he's closer to 40 because he's past 35
Not
now.
exactly.
So
Not exactly.
he's over the halfway
35
mark.
today.
We'll see as
Well,
well. Take
tomorrow
it.
you're
If you can get
closer
the
to
best,
40, yeah.
you can get a great
So
gift end of the
enjoy
year. I think you know
Enjoy
what
the
I'm
next,
referring to.
enjoy
Sorry?
the next hour.
If
and
you get a
50
great gift
minutes.
by the end of the year,
What are you referring to?
if
Don't jinx it. Don't say it.
okay, I think you
No,
know what I'm referring to.
I don't even think about
Oh,
that.
please.
That's
Do
not gonna
you
happen.
legitimately think that Argentina have a chance at the World
Nah,
Cup?
they're gonna
Come
win.
on.
They're gonna finish last.
I saw
You'll
a
beat
thing.
the
I
Saudis
saw
in
a
the first
graphic today. Sorry, that FIFA put out, noting the percentage chance of every team at the World Cup to win. So Brazil was up there at like 17%, and then obviously went
To
down,
Brazil's favorite.
down the list.
Congratulations to Brazil on your World Cup victory. Let's put it out there in the universe.
Sorry, I correct. I believe it was France and then Brazil. Anyway, regardless, they were like
Congratulations to France.
they were within a couple of
I don't know about that. France
points
have been
of
poor though. but-
percentile. There was some teams down at the bottom that were on 0. They had 0% chance of winning the World Cup. Australia 0.01% chance.
Yeah, the boy.
Yeah, something up there.
And someone posted it up with a Simpsons meme. So you mean there is a chance?
What was Argentina
So
doing?
you mean there's a chance? Do you really want to know? I can pull it up for you. So, okay.
All right, so
While you continue,
the
I'll
topic
find this.
tonight: players over the age of 35, so 35 and up, that performed at a high level. Not that kept playing, because most players still play, especially this day and age with sports science, sports nutrition. But 35 and above who played at a high level. Before we get into that, Fatty, what are the odds?
So France 17.9%, Brazil 15.7%, Spain 11.5%, England 8.0%, Belgium 7.9%, Netherlands 7.7%, Germany 7.2%, Argentina 6.5%.
Excellent.
Keep it
You are
low.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
He wants
7,
it low as possible.
8th favorite.
Who else? Who's underneath Argentina?
Portugal, Croatia, Denmark.
What's Italy?
Oh!
0.00%.
Not applicable.
Saudi Arabia is 0 and Cameroon is 0. We've got a better chance than
Sorry,
Cameroon.
before we move on, last time we were here, we were was when we were guessing the finalissima result, and we all said Italy was going to win, and Argentina
Yeah,
won.
that's right.
And
Yeah.
Argentina won 3-0.
No, not just one, but they spanked them.
It's probably one of the best
Yeah.
games of seeing Argentina
Because it
perform.
was a nobody, it was a nothing game. That's why Argentina had no pressure.
It was
and
a
they
final, it was a
performed.
FIFA final.
Okay, but Messi had no pressure, so he performed easy.
So you're saying when there is pressure, he'll.
Well, I recall 2014, there was pressure.
And
And he won man of the tournament, didn't he, in the World Cup?
but not
Is
the
that the-
World Cup.
is that the
Not
trophy he
the-
wanted?
is that what he
No,
wanted?
it's not, but he was the best player of the tournament. What do you want? What do you want him to do?
Because I don't want to G you up for your birthday. Just enjoy your day.
Happy birthday to Messi for this Friday, since we're on the topic. He's 4 days younger than I am. So
So you got another.
24th of June, 87. He is.
Different
You
careers,
reckon he'll
eh?
catch up to his Ballon d'Ors?
Look, I don't know Ballon d'Ors, but bank accounts. Bank accounts are very similar, obviously. All right, so 35 and up. It can be past players, it can be current players. I'm enjoying this episode because I've done zero research, and I'm hoping you guys have come loaded with information and opinion. I'm going to throw the first name out there, though, and I think Adasi and Akram will enjoy this one. And the very recent one, a current one, is Modric that comes to mind. How old is he now?
Turning 37 in a couple of months.
And everyone thought after last season or after the World Cup, last season, he thought it was over. And he came out this year, La Liga, Champions League, but not only winning them, but being influential in winning them.
Yeah, regular starter. And when he's not there, his absence is noticeable. And he's just playing such a high level still for his age, running around non-stop. Such an influential player he is. And I think what he needed last year, I think he had a good break after the season, because for so long he's been playing the club season, then he goes to the Euros, and he goes to the World Cup. He just didn't have a break, but I think he's getting more rest, a bit more rest as well. So, which is really important.
But funny you say that. He came out actually now and had a go about the Nations League, and saying it's ridiculous. I personally think that the Nations League is a fucking waste of time.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's
and
another
you're
topic.
burning players out now with an international tournament and in a World Cup here.
Those teams, by the way, they played 4 games in 10 days by end of the season.
Yeah, but what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Sorry to go off topic, but because you touched on getting a rest and whatnot. If you're going to have World Cup every 2 years, how frequent is the Nations League? I have absolutely no interest in it.
Almost every year.
Completely
It's a year-long thing. It's just like a promotion relegation thing.
When are you going to actually play a season, have an off season, have the UEFA Nations League, be a World Cup year or a Euro year or a
apart from that,
American
they're also talking about bringing South American teams into the Nations League.
Oh, please, bro. Just scrap that. What is it then? It must just be the World Cup.
It's just glorified friendlies. Kevin De Bruyne came out saying it's pointless.
It is pointless.
It's absolutely pointless.
It's fucking pointless. It's a waste of time. And
the only thing, the non-European nations are getting harmed. I think I mentioned this because there's no room for them to play friendlies against European nations.
Yeah.
So it's harmful for their development as well. So anyway.
So Modric obviously...
100%. I mean, he's been playing fantastic. I think he probably had the assist of the season in that semi-final against Man City, but we teed it up for Rodrigo with the outside of his boot. I thought that was absolutely special. One of the best assists I've seen in years. It's hard to believe. Every year we keep thinking this is the year he's going to decline, like a real permanent decline, that he's going to leave. He's been on 1 year extensions every year for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, he's just signed one till next year. So
and what's Real Madrid going to do when he's gone? Considering he's so influential,
they're trying to bring in
$100 million.
Sorry,
they'll throw 100 million into it.
They've got the next 3 coming off. So you got the Kroos, Modric, Casemiro, who've been there for so long, but then they've got Camavinga, Valverde, and Tchouaméni now.
True, Adasi. And all 3 of them are really talented in their own right.
Young too.
My concern, though, is that none of them have the technical ability that Modric has.
Not yet, anyway.
No, like they're different type of players, right? Yeah. Modric is, come on, like,
I shouldn't ask that question. I apologize.
Anyways,
the Real Madrid question.
Is Kroos, speaking of, how old's Kroos?
He's 32.
Okay, so still young.
Yeah.
Still young.
It took you a
young
second
by
to,
league standards.
I like how you had to pause there to figure out that was below 35 or something.
No, because
I
was surprised.
He's 32, you're like, still young.
I legit thought he was older.
He's been around for a while.
Johnny?
I legit thought he was older.
He's been around for his Bayern Munich days and the national team. He retired from the national team. But
so he was clever, eh? He's just like,
he's
too much.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to this topic, the goalkeepers are a different species, aren't they? Because you're still valuable in your early 40s. You may still be valuable in your early 40s when it comes to being a goalkeeper. So 35 is not the same for a midfielder or a striker as it is for a
35, 30, early 30s, I feel, is a goalkeeper's peak, as opposed to an outfield player's
late
mid-20s. Yeah, 26, 27 is your peak years. I think for a keeper, it's not before 32. They gain that experience, that command of their box and all that sort of stuff. They develop a real persona about them. I feel when keepers are younger, they don't have that. That's why a lot of keepers, and obviously it's not the same level of fitness as an outfield player, not taking anything away from, the technical ability that they need and the agility that they need, the reflexes and all that sort of stuff. But keepers have more of a longevity in the game. When you see a lot of keepers play through their 40s, you see a lot of German keepers as well. The Oliver Kahns, Jens Lehmann, all played into their 40s at the highest level. I'm not talking
Absolutely,
like they didn't go to shit clubs. Like Oliver Kahn was playing at Bayern Munich for how long? Until he was over 40, 41, 42.
Yeah, he was there for a while.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, like you're right, Johnny, where, when it comes to goalkeepers, they're, a lot more common to be playing at that high level. But I do think there's three or four that really deserve, a real shout out. Fatty's already said a couple: Oliver Kahn, Manuel Neuer, Gigi Buffon. What is he, 42, 43 now?
Still playing Serie B.
Yeah, playing Serie B for Parma. But what year did he leave Juventus? He was, I think, he was 39. He was 40 years old when he left Juventus.
2 years ago. That's right.
Dinner Zoff.
Yeah.
Oldest player to captain a World Cup in 1982 to a win. 40 years old.
And the oldest players to play in the World Cup are goalkeepers, Mondragon and then the Egyptian keeper, El Hadari.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
In the early 40s. Not uncommon.
I can't believe Mondragon played in the Brazil World Cup because I remember him when I was a kid in Argentina playing in the Argentinian League in the 90s.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He came on as a sub in the World Cup in Brazil.
Yeah, I remember.
How old was Casillas when he finished?
So Casillas is one of the few goalkeepers that did get a bit of a sharp decline. What was it, like still early 30s when he was
had the heart problem.
started decline?
30, he left Real about 34, 33, and then he went to Porto after that, and then retired after 35. But,
he
just
yeah.
what a line.
But I think it's like he's
like
quite unique because he was a fairly short goalkeeper. Comparatively speaking, he relied a lot more on speed and reflexes.
But it's funny, like he's saying he retired just after 35, let's say 36 for argument's sake, and you're saying that that's his career cut short.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
So it's funny. It's funny to put it that way.
By then.
That's right.
He's a more credit to your boyfriend, Donnarumma, that is so young and such a big figure.
Thinking of him, he made another howler for Italy.
boyfriend.
He's not good at the ball with his feet. Well done.
All right, don't get angry. It's all right.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Very aggressive.
I'm just saying, like, every time to mention
You're right, Adasi, but not every keeper is a sweeper keeper. Like,
but
not every keeper has to be Manuel Neuer. Like the fact is, like Johnny's saying, at quite an early age, he's accomplished quite a lot for his, for his position and for his age, for his country.
Yeah.
Neuer feels like he's been around for 20 years for some reason. I don't know why.
While he might not be around for exactly 20 years, he's been around for
a very long time.
Close to that.
And he's kind of like personified the sweeper keeper. Well, he's used to come out of his box a lot.
So
until he gets done by Mihailovic halfway goal.
Stankovic, yeah.
He started in Schalke about 15 years ago, didn't he? 15 years ago in Schalke, he started, didn't he?
Schalke, yeah, he started at Schalke. They had a good youth team. They had Ozil back then as well. And then moved to Bayern in 2011, 2012. And, made the number one spot for him there at Germany as well. And he was a beast in the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah, he was an animal.
Yeah.
He was an animal. That's fucking 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Schwarzer did all right too. He was about 40. He was still in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Was a reserve
Schwarzer
keeper.
still, Schwarzer did great at Middlesbrough. He even moved to Chelsea for a little bit. I mean, he was fucking reserve, but still.
Chelsea,
Leicester.
Fulham.
One keeper I always like to bring up is Edward van der Sar.
Yeah, Van der Sar was amazing.
Because he had an interesting career where like he was up, but then his career took a bit of a decline. He went to a couple of small clubs, and then he got that resurgence with Manchester United.
Yeah, he was at Fulham for a bit, but then with Man United,
it
was a bit of a surprise because he came back to United. He came to United, and everyone thought, "What the fuck? Like, what's he going to do now?" And then he just really commanded that
position.
Yeah, he was good.
Absolutely.
I liked him at his when he started at Ajax. Back in the mid-90s, he was really good.
Came through that Ajax thing.
Yeah.
All right, so this is where it gets interesting. Names that are not goalkeepers. We mentioned Modric. Obviously, there's a name that stands out. We'll leave it to the end if you want.
I was about to say a name, but I don't know if that's the name you're referring to.
Yeah, no way. No, how are we supposed to go off that glue?
Throw it.
Throw it. Danny Alves.
No.
Danny Alves, how old is he now?
There's one stand
37?
there that's above everyone else by far.
39, Valdes.
39.
Yeah, but he's not extending with Barcelona.
But he's playing for Brazil. He's still playing for the national team.
I don't know if they're short on.
More of
I
a
don't know if they're
token
short on
figure.
right backs at the moment.
No,
Brazil.
it's more of a token figure.
But he's still playing, Johnny. Okay, take it 1 year ago. What's the difference?
No, he was not good a year ago. He was playing in the Brazilian league, and I watched him play, and he was.
Okay, how long ago was he playing at a respectable level?
After Barca, where do you go? Juventus?
I think Juve, then PSG, or
how
PSG.
How long ago was that?
3 years ago?
5 years ago,
35.
maybe.
He's pushing 39.
4 or 5 years ago, 6 maybe. It was a Juve, PSG or PSG Juve after He did play.
I think regardless of whether we're trying to validate or not,
You
it's
know,
true.
PSG.
It is true that he did.
trying to dismiss Dani Alves as
Yeah,
another
it
35 player.
is true that he did rejoin Barcelona this past season. He actually played quite well in a couple of those games and had a bit of a resurgence. And at 39, it does deserve mentioning.
He got 35 and you're not fucking Barcelona. What do you want? Fuck, man, you're
Those are
shitting on
behind me.
Dani Alves.
I'm not
Oh.
shitting on him.
This guy's like, oh, fucking Dani Alves. What's your claim to fame? Fucking
See,
Suarez
this is
nutted
the problem.
you
This is
once.
the problem, Johnny, with not having Fatty on for this long. Is he's got a lot to say.
I just don't think that we saw the same. And obviously, none of these players. But we just mentioned Modric, for example. You're comparing Modric to someone like Dani Alves at the age of 36, 37. I don't think you're talking
The
same level.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Different players in different positions.
Let's move on from Dani Alves
Fuck
controversy.
me.
At 36,
I don't know why I didn't come for 6 weeks now.
at 36, he was leaving PSG to go to Sao Paulo.
I mean, he did come out and
I like
play
how
for
this
Brazil
aroused-
the Olympics and won gold with them last year. So.
Good on him.
I like how this really fired you up, Fatty. No, it just
Because I gave you a legitimate fucking person. You're trying to just not validate. Oh, yeah, but no, it wasn't really that good. Like, that's your opinion.
Look, he won at the age of 36. He won the Copa America with
That's
Brazil.
rubbish. Don't worry about Copa America.
No,
doesn't
so
count.
I'm giving you.
Copa
I'm giving
America
you.
doesn't count.
I'm,
But now
actually,
Copa America counts because Messi won it, right? So it has to
I'm-
fucking count.
I'm throwing stats to support you here.
I can't deal with this, bro. Fuck, it's your
It was
birthday
a
doesn't mean you can be a fuckwit.
it was a year ago, he would have agreed with you, but
Yeah,
because Messi
well-
won it.
That's right.
You know what? Let's move on. Give me
Fucking
a
hell.
different name before Dani Alves creates a divorce in this.
One player retired. My name comes to mind. Javier
No, it
Zanetti.
can't be retired, bro. He's got to be
Okay.
fucking playing right
Active?
now.
No.
It's got to be good enough. It's
Don't
got to be
worry
good
about
enough, bro.
Thank you, Fatty.
So we continue.
Yeah.
Javier Zanetti.
Nervous over here.
Zanetti.
Javier Zanetti. He retired. At
Is that
Inter.
acceptable to you?
He retired.
continue,
I think he
so,
retired
yeah,
at 40 at Inter. 2014, he retired, and he was 40 years old. And he made that right back spot his for a long time. He was very loyal to the club too, given that they spent so much over the years and they hadn't won much until Calciopoli, pretty honest.
Yeah.
Before that, spent so much on Ronaldo and Jokaev and Marana here and there. And he still stuck with them and won the treble with Mourinho's season. Great player, class person as well.
Yeah.
Class player. And look, there's that meme, that one picture that came out where his profile photo from all these years. He has not changed one bit. He has not aged a bit, even till now.
He's still part of the club.
The
Yeah.
fucking vampire.
Yeah, he's still part of the club as some advisory role. But great player, one of my favourite right backs. of all
Vice
time.
president.
Yeah.
Speaking of Zanetti, it reminds me, how old is Chiellini?
Keelan is 36.
Just
37?
Does that pass your fucking test?
Actually, I'm with you on this one, man. I feel bad about Dani Alves.
I was just
man. That
checking,
like,
bro.
all right,
I want to make sure that's acceptable.
Well, Kellen is still playing for Italy. He played in the final. He played half a game in the final.
Yeah,
He's
but
living in
finished
Juve,
now.
isn't he?
He's finished now.
He's finished the Juve.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
moving to where's he going?
Orlando?
MLS somewhere. I think LA.
Or was it Miami?
Or Miami or one of those.
Into Miami. Most of them are
Into
going to
Miami.
fucking go play with Beckham.
Yeah, that's true.
Just for the fucking showboat a bit.
Yeah.
Play for a year,
South
get paid
Beach, man.
stupid money. And
Yeah.
Mm.
There's rumors that's
Fucking-
where Messi's going next year.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, but that's because there's some sort of link there with some shit.
They're offering him like a third of the club. He shares.
Ownership deals.
Wow.
Smart. He should.
When it's a superstar appeal, like Beckham will say, "Hey, come here, and you can be part of the,
Can you put it?
the
Can
project."
you use that in the Beckham voice?
Hey, come here, be part of the project.
that was
that?
pretty good, actually. I was like,
Posh will keep you happy. So, yeah,
Not
I
bad.
can see,
Not bad.
I can see the
What a-
attraction for
what a deal.
superstars to be going to clubs like that.
What a deal!
But you know what?
we got to get the Beckham voice every
The
week.
thing
now.
is, the MLS facilitates that, as opposed to the A League. The MLS facilitates that because there's no caps. They have purpose-built stadiums. Their engagement and all that sort of stuff. There's an interest in the sport,
And they're
there.
expanding all those expansion
and they're
teams.
constantly expanding. But all the expansion teams have fans, have a support.
Mm.
Are bringing in some good South American players because obviously it's
Look,
close, but
Yeah,
it's still there's still
Yeah, mate,
something there. Like
it is
they're
really hard to
progressing.
compare the models though.
I guess population as well.
Population is 350 million to our 24. Like, wherever you go in America, you're going to find somewhere some fan who's going to come to any fucking stadium in the middle of the desert. You're going to get fans.
And we're
probably
going,
just
we're
want-
pretty much
they're
Here
probably
we are in Australia, we're struggling with two A-League teams in New
on the
South Wales.
coast, and we're pretty much restricted to the coastal
That's
cities
it.
as well.
Zlatan, speaking of the MLS,
Your favorite, Johnny?
Yeah. One
the
of
man.
I think Zlatan, for me, out of anybody in this list, would have to be the peak of players at performing continually at a very high. How old is he? 39 or 40?
He's 40 now.
Bro, come on. The guy still went to Milan and fucking won a Scudetto with them. Like,
Well, yeah,
let's
like, I mean,
take
look, it is
Come
true.
on.
This year he's barely played his past season, but that's actually something that I really like to give a lot of credit to Zlatan, who's been known to, having a massive ego and all that and talking himself up, but he's transitioned into such a great leader in the dressing room for this young Milan team.
Yeah.
Even though he's not played much,
Did
he's
you,
been.
sorry, did you see the speech he did at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
dressing room,
yeah.
I think
I
that.
saw how you interrupted me, Darren.
Come on,
Come on,
before you
just-
move on.
Yeah. So before you move on, oh no,
Oh,
you
he,
just
was,
told me before, far
he
out.
was saying that he was.
I thought he was going to say before you move on, he had something more to say.
No.
But yeah, no. So I really give him props for that. Like they said, even though he barely played, he did really well in bringing up the young players around him, especially in the attack and Rafael Leao, and really kind of giving Olivier Giroud a lot of support behind, even though he's not obviously a premier, elite goal scorer. He was really fundamental in helping Giroud get equated to the club because obviously they knew each other in the Premier League. And I mean, like Zlatan's always been a player that surprised us. Like when he went to MLS, when he went back to Manchester United, and then that first season with Milan a season ago, he actually played really well, man. Yeah, you give him a lot of credit. He's a player that I've never really liked because of the way he's talked himself up, but a player I've really come to respect a lot.
Wow. What a fucking speech.
He's
I know.
What a praise, what a
You think I'd be the one who's not been out for
Very
6
solid
weeks? Eh?
appraisal.
he's great for marketing as well, obviously.
Well, 100%. I mean, he knows how to market himself, and he has for the better part of his career. Eh?
Another name that comes to mind is Thiago Silva, because he left PSG as like, okay, you're done now. Chelsea picked him up, and he was captain or at least a leader in winning the Champions League. So
I personally thought that Thiago Silva coming from PSG was going to be a massive flop going to Chelsea. Personally, and I'll go out on a limb and say that. I didn't think he'd be able to perform. Surprisingly, he has, and he's led well. Chelsea didn't have the greatest season in the Premier League, but he adapted well for someone who's come from a weaker league, so to speak. He's adapted really well. What is he now? 36, 37?
37.
Yeah, he came in. I think what revitalized his career at Chelsea was when Thomas Tuchel came into charge.
Yeah.
And then he changed the team, and then he obviously got his confidence up and won the Champions League as well. So both of them were part of the losing side at PSG in the Champions League the season before, and they come and win it the next year with Chelsea.
Going back to the 90s, I think Roger Miller comes to mind. Wasn't he the oldest player to score in a World Cup?
Yeah, Roger Miller.
Yes, yeah, he was in '94.
I like how we all looked at Adasi for the
Yes,
stats, just to verify the stats were
just,
correct.
Say the line, boy.
He did score. He did score in the World Cup, and it was nothing but consolation, losing 6-1 to Russia.
Was he
that game.
43?
Yeah, about 42 or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and they lost 6-1.
Where was
to
he
Russia.
playing at that time?
Oh, I don't know what people have played somewhere. I don't know in
Played
Cameroon. In
somewhere.
Cameroon.
In '94, he was, I think, a French. It's Cameroon. Yeah, no one cares.
Wow.
But then his
Can you
icon.
name one club
But
from the
it-
Cameroon League?
But then he scored as well.
Gungu Suns.
He was 40 when he
Look
scored
at
that goal, or 39 when in Italia 90 did that dance in the corner against Colombia.
So that's a player that performed
And
at
then
least at
fucking-
international level
Yeah.
Comments from the hit on him.
after the age of 35.
Yeah.
What other names come to mind?
Going back to the Serie A and current plays right
course.
now, Fabio Cagliolera plays for Sampdoria. He's 39.
know who that
Really
is?
great striker, everyone.
I know, of course, I know that
I
is.
certainly hope you guys know this player, Fadi. Like,
Do you know who this is, Johnny?
I do. I've seen watched him play.
What
I
does he do? Don't fucking Google it. Tell
The
us.
striker.
Yeah, yeah, he's a striker.
Scores goals.
And what club does he play for?
Sampdoria.
Listening.
No, great striker. Like, you know, I like the fact that he's spent like the majority of his career with a club like Sampdoria. He's never really played for too many of the bigger clubs. Everyone thought like he was finished, and he continually improves himself every season. A couple of years ago, scored one of the goals of the season, passed into the box, and instead of turning like you think he would, he just flicked it on with a back heel right into the goals, took the goalkeeper by surprise. It was a stunning piece of improvisation. I really like watching him play. 39, mate.
For me,
Is he still playing now?
Yeah, for Sampdoria, man.
one player, La Liga based Joaquin Sanchez, the winger, Spanish winger,
100%,
I remember Joaquin.
dubbed the Spanish figure. He's
Yeah.
now 40, still
He
going.
feels like he's been around
He
forever,
just
man.
Yeah.
still won the Copa del Rey this year with Betis. Very happy for him. He's a great player. Some people remember him from the 2002 World Cup 20 years ago almost now when he missed the penalty against South Korea as a very young player, 20-year-old coming through, took the penalty, missed, but picked his career up and moved to Valencia, played for Fiorentina
I remember him
for a
in
bit, played for
Valencia.
Malaga. He had to move to Chelsea, fall through, I think, at the last minute. And didn't quite reach the potential that they thought he would, but he still kept going and he still comes off the bench every now and then to play. And very happy that he won the Copa del Rey, Betis, with that side with Pellegrini.
Well, someone has to win, and Real never wins it. So,
I think I start taking that seriously for once.
any Arsenal players come to mind?
Yeah, you've got David Seaman, obviously. Jens Lehmann, I mentioned as well. Tony Adams, I'm not sure if he played past 35.
Oh, he drank
Probably
past
not.
35.
Swear, I always have to make that joke. Your centre backs generally did that. I think Martin Keown did for a while. He stayed around during that, as he got phased out during the Invincibles era, like he played a big part, but he was still around.
Speaking of Arsenal players, Santi Cazorla still active.
Cazorla's amazing. I love that player. Technically, Wenger to this day
Who's
still
he playing?
speaks.
Is he Villarreal now?
No,
I don't think he played.
he's in Qatar, I think now.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
Qatar.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, his career they thought it was over. He had to have surgery on his.
He had a lot of
ankle.
injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Wenger always spoke very highly of him. Said one of the most technically gifted players that he's ever
very
managed.
good player. I really liked him.
Yeah.
37 is at Al Sadd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Al Sadd in Qatar.
Yeah.
Very, very gifted player.
Yeah.
Loved
81,
him.
81 caps. So
He did win a
Well-
Euro. I think 2012. He won the Euro.
He was
With
just
the,
in that era where it was been very hard to break into that Spain midfield. Like
yeah,
any other team, and he'd be a sure starter. But that Spain
Yeah.
midfield is fucking ridiculous.
Iniesta is still active in Japan. He'd
Yeah.
be a
Is
good
that-
one to come to
Is
the
that a
league.
Vissel Kobe? They're
Yes.
struggling apparently. They're
Yeah.
doing really bad in Japan at the moment.
Yeah, towards relegation or
Yeah,
relegation.
they're very close down to the bottom, but I
Yeah.
think there's still time for them.
Yeah.
Who's fucking coaching? Fucking what's his name? He's
Muscat.
doing well. Muscat's doing all right.
We move to Europe if he does like a Postecoglou.
Postecoglou's doing fantastic. I'd love Postecoglou to come back and take the national team again.
Yeah.
I think he
I think
enjoys.
he'll do it.
I think he enjoys the day-to-day
Yeah, it's
interaction.
different.
Yeah,
Kind of
one,
coaching.
two. Obviously, his fallout with the FFA was never going to fucking
Yeah.
gonna keep
Different
him
kind
around.
of coaching.
Yeah, I agree.
What are the names do you have?
I mean, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's the name I
Yeah.
was leading to before. I think he probably out of the whole bunch, the whole pick, he'll be the number one.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's another player that from way in the past that I think deserves a shout about it. But anyway, focusing on Cristiano Ronaldo, he's done really well this year. It's funny seeing a lot of people blame him for Man United's problems. I think that's a little unfair. He was their top goal scorer, wasn't he not? And he played quite well.
Look, it's a double-edged sword because you're right. He single-handedly saved Man United in a lot of games
Yeah.
with his goals. A lot of the points they have are because of him. But there are a lot of rumours of the damage he's done inside the change room.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, the rumours because none of us are there.
Yeah.
But Man United were leading what it seemed to be the season before, finishing second on the Solskjaer, grooming these young players coming through, building that team together, and it looked like they were heading in the right way. It was a very different team when Cristiano came in. I don't know how much impact him personally had, or the pressure of him, or his personality, or whatever.
Yeah,
But a lot of Man United fans, that's what they say in regards to he damaged what was getting built in that culture sense. We'll see what happens next season. There's rumors that he wants to go because he wants to play Champions League. And
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to do playing Europa League on a Thursday night or Friday morning here.
Friday morning.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he still gets his numbers up in the goal scoring charts compared to now Haaland coming in the Premier League. So we'll see. That'll be good.
Just touching on that point,
Yeah.
Johnny, about the dressing room and whatnot. I don't think that's his fault though.
No, I was gonna say the same.
That's the player who is. That's his stature. It's no. You know, I don't hide the fact that I don't prefer Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, when it comes to this bullshit. But you can't deny the man's ability, his the way he his career. You can't deny it.
how demanding and professional he is.
He's performed everywhere he went. That's his persona. Now, if they couldn't manage that, that's a management problem in the club.
I agree.
So that means the management was either weak, they couldn't handle a big player like that, and
Yeah.
it's affected the dressing room. That's not Ronaldo's fault. You know what you're getting when you're getting Cristiano Ronaldo. You can't say, "Oh, hey, look," but
100%.
fucking take it easy.
And what does it say
Quiet
about
him
the,
down.
and what does it say about these young players that you're referring to that couldn't
Handle
handle
it.
having a presence like that? Eventually, regardless of the talent of these young players, you do have to take that next step. Are you never going to sign big players? And
Yeah.
to be honest, I think that's a bit of an unfair cop out. I mean, you did have big personalities in that direction. Paul Pogba is not exactly a quiet guy, is he?
That's what I say as well. Like there's a lot of problems in that.
Different, man. It's not like the point is that they're not just like they're not Arsenal for God's sake with all these young players. They're not that young.
But you look at it like it's not his fault because there's a lot of problems in that Man United squad. Like,
I think the only thing I would-
defense is a shambles.
Sorry, I think the only thing you would really label and criticize him for is the fact that he doesn't track back that much anymore. And which
That's
I mean,
not
he's
what they
37 years old, like
That's
you
not
know,
what they signed him
and that's not his role.
Like, come on, Pogba his departure from Man United was a joke, and now he's just released a documentary, Pogmentary, whatever it's called. Like, come on, like his career's not even finished. And Jordan didn't do a docu until 20 years after he retired.
Well, what would you do if Real Madrid signed Pogba?
Do your job. You're not,
I'm just asking, would you be happy?
no, if he performs, oh yeah, but if he
No. If you just heard that he'd been signed now, what would your reaction be?
welcome to the club,
Will you?
fight for your spot. He has to know that.
I'm interested to know if you're
Fight for your spot.
going to watch the documentary.
No, it's on Prime. I don't have Prime, so. I'm not watching.
So if you had
But come on,
Pogba, watch it, but it's not.
I don't think all these players doing documentaries halfway through their careers.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Sergio
agree.
Ramos did one. Neymar did one.
yeah, Ramos did one. He took a yellow card against Ajax to be suspended for that return leg, and we lost that return leg, him not being there, and had to film him in the box. It was
Is
such
that
an
why he did
embarrassment.
that? Is that why he did that?
They reckon that he took a yellow card.
Wow.
Yeah, but you
Wow.
kind of like just described, sequence of events. What Johnny's saying was it okay for Ramos
I
to
heard
do
it,
it?
no, it wasn't.
You were cranky. with it.
No, because it was a
No, you weren't
it was a crap
cranky?
documentary
Or you were
anyway.
cranky?
I heard it was a crap documentary. I just think all these like Griezmann did one about his decision. That's
What Griezmann? Fuck off, idiot. This is Griezmann. No one cares about this cunt anymore. Fucking useless French pig.
Anyway, like-
I think Cristiano is, to me, the number one in regards to when we're talking about this.
Yeah.
And also because he seemed to be peaking in his early to mid 30s.
Mm.
That's right.
You mentioned about place 26, 27 is where they peak. For him, it was a bit later. And credit to the way that he looks after himself, what a professional he is and all that.
Mm.
And an amazing athlete. Like we've mentioned before, best athlete to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I thought he was number one, but he had a different name.
Yeah, I mean, and I totally admit, like, this particular name is a player that was playing a long time ago in football in the 40s, to be honest. Stanley Matthews, oldest player to ever win a Ballon d'Or, won the Ballon d'Or at 41 years old, retired from top flight football at 50. He was playing the Premier League.
Wow.
PFA Player of the Year at 48.
The fact that he's English does it bring it down for you a little bit.
Not knighted as well, Sir Stanley Matthews.
Oh, fuck. That means nothing to me, bro. Fuck that. Everyone gets knighted like it's something.
Well, not many
Fucking
footballers have been
Beckham got
knighted.
knighted. Who gives a fuck?
He's not,
get
he's not
knighted?
knighted.
Oh no, is it Sir
Who?
David Beckham?
No, David Beckham's not
Someone
knighted.
got
been-
knighted. Some other footballer.
No,
got
he
knighted in the
he
Premier
did a
League.
sword thing. I don't know which one
That's
it
the
was.
thing, bro.
But he's not Sir. He's
He
not
did the
knighted.
thing.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
it's
I
different
don't think
level.
there's been. I mean, obviously Alex Ferguson. I
Come
don't think there's
on,
been
man,
that
the
many.
Thing, the thing,
So
man.
Bobby
Elton
Robson.
John. Elton John.
Bobby Robson.
And,
He got
and Bobby
knighted
Charlton.
because he played the game
I
card.
guess Bobby Robson. Yeah.
So there's only been about 3 or 4 players that have been knighted. Mate.
That's a good question for you. Next time we
Speaking,
get him on.
speaking of English players, there's a couple of notable mentions that played well into their fucking thing. Teddy Sheringham, I think, played till he was 40.
But he looked 40 since he was
Yeah,
25.
I looked 40 since he started playing. The cunt.
Speaking of player that looked 40, Diego Costa.
They had
he's
fucking
younger than us.
Roberto, Brazilian, played for a while as well. Played well into his late 30s. And he fucking looks jacked now. Have you seen him?
Yeah, looks like a machine.
The guy looks like a fucking
Yeah.
beast. Rivaldo, I think, also played for a while, but then he played lower tiers and whatever.
Yeah.
But still,
How old's Marcelo?
34.
oh, just miss that.
Yeah.
Don't fucking
No good.
mention. Retract the name quick.
He's a youngling.
Yeah.
Where is he going? Brazil, back to Brazil. I heard.
Not sure. Hasn't decided yet. He
Rumor-
hasn't retired yet.
Rumors of him going back to Fluminense.
Could be. Haven't heard much though. He's happy to stay in Spain. His family's settled there. Yeah, not sure. Hasn't decided.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
Very
Any
interesting.
last names before we go?
Fernandinho, 36.
Yeah, finished his last year at Man City.
Where's he going now? Do you know?
Think back to Brazil. Brazilian league.
Fucking Brazilians.
That's where they all go. Where they're going to go. They make money, then they go back to feed their favelas beans and fucking rice.
Maybe
That's
What
a
else
lot of
do they
beans.
do?
It's a lot of beans. and
One
rice.
name is still going. I think he's still going. Kazu Mura, the Japanese guy. It's been his
Oh, yeah.
mid
Notable
50s.
mention. 54, actually. I
54.
looked at him the other day.
Played
And
a
he's still
guest
going. He's on a new contract.
and a guest stint in A League for Sydney FC a few years ago at the start of the competition.
Must
His first season was in like 80 something,
Yeah, so
mid
he's,
80s.
he's played in like 5 decades or.
That's crazy.
must be eating some fucking fresh sushi.
To be
Sure.
active like that.
And sashimi too.
100%.
Oh, Akram, any last names?
No, mate, no. I think we're all out. I mean, we've talked about the most notable ones.
There's a few obviously smaller names in the Argentinian league.
Okay.
There's one name that you guys would know, which is Maxi Rodriguez, just retired last year.
fair.
Yeah, he's got that
Alright,
great goal.
Yeah,
No
at
six.
the, at the age of
Great
at the
goal
age
that
of
was,
41, he retired, but he's
Wow.
still very influential in
Yeah.
for his team, Newell's Boys,
Wow. That's
until
amazing.
he retired. What a goal! What a goal that was!
Oh,
Liverpool
cracker.
player as well.
And Atletico Madrid as well. I
Yeah.
remember in the 2006 World Cup when in the quarterfinal, like that fight at the end of the game, Argentina and Germany, and you see him running and trying to hit one of the German players from the back.
Happy got him.
A couple other players, Johnny, just that we missed. Paolo Maldini
Yep.
and Costa Curta.
Ah, Costa Curta. I love that.
Serie A
guy.
days.
I
Good
feel,
old-
feel
good old
like
days.
Perez is another one that looks 50 since he started playing.
Yeah, no way. I wonder how. I'm not sure, like how late he was playing into his top flight football. Do you know, Darcy?
Perez, he played for maybe
Yeah, you're
early
right, he did
40s.
look fucking
early
old.
40s.
That's like fucking Platini. He looked old too.
And
I don't know how old he was. When he finished.
Iron Robin as well. He started
Look how
losing.
quickly he changed the topic.
They talk about players that looked old at a young age. Daley Blint's father, Danny Blint. Remember the curly haired Dutchman?
Yeah, that's right.
Ribery
Yeah, still going.
Ribery's
on.
38. That's
Happy
right, I
they
did look it up.
his team survived.
relegation.
Yeah,
He retired at 37.
Who?
But I see. Yeah,
There you
fair
go.
enough.
How old was Platini when he finished?
Ask Adasi.
no.
I don't know. As soon as I said it, he said, "Oh, Ribery, Robert,
Oh, yeah,
Robert,
right,
Robert,
right,
Robert."
yeah.
Change the topic quickly.
When he retired or when
Oh, they've got a photo of him in jail clothes.
he retired in 87 and was born in 55.
32.
That's young.
He won the Euro.
Yeah,
but-
because he went to jail. Fraud.
He made enough money so he can retire. For his team.
Fraudulently by hacking servers and ignoring people.
The 80s was hacking servers.
For anyone who's not aware of the references we're making, do you remember which episode you spoke about this?
It was one of the early ones before we started doing
Video?
Yeah,
No, we did. Oh, it wasn't a video. You're right.
There
It's
was
audio.
a story. It's probably one of the funniest stories I've had
yeah.
here
Almost 20 years ago now.
of Adasi.
Did you say 10?
Almost 20 years ago.
Oh, the story. I
Yeah,
thought the
yeah, yeah,
episode.
no, not the
I'm like,
episode.
when are we
No,
going
no.
Of Adasi and Platini having personal beef. I think it was episode 16, 17, or 18.
Something
something
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Personal beef between Adasi
Uh,
and Platini. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it.
Good memories.
Last chance, guys, before we go. Any names come to
I
mind?
think we're going to see more players finishing in the
Reaching
crease
this.
past 35. I think, like you said, we mentioned sports science, nutrition, and that, and the way the game is played. I think you'll see more players finishing their careers in the late 30s, especially outfield players, not so much goalkeepers all the time.
Question: how long do you think Messi is going to go for?
No, I think it's already declining.
How long do you think he'll stay playing for?
Playing active,
Yeah.
3-4 years. He might push towards the next World Cup. I don't know if he'll play it,
I don't
But
think
he-
he'll do the next one.
but he'll be
Surely
doing
not.
he'll be doing MLS or some sort of
Yeah, but how old is he now? 34?
34 and 361 days.
As of today.
Okay, so this is last World Cup. I don't see him at 38 unless he's just a token.
Yeah, on
they're
the
hoping
bench.
that they win the World Cup and he
So he can
carries the
lift it.
trophy again
Yeah.
on a fucking cane. Like how long?
Fuck, he's 38. He's not 68.
How long are you going to keep fucking flogging that dead horse for? Oh, he's just a marketing tool because they're putting captains. He can carry the trophy. Clearly, that's failed multiple
So
occasions.
did you ask me the questions just so you can stay on?
Yes.
Regardless of my answer, you were going to come up with this.
Oh, but he won Copa America. Okay, bro. I'm talking about the World Cup.
That's the only thing. That's the only reason he asked the question.
No, but you know why I asked? Because I don't feel like he's going to be at PSG for very long.
No, I reckon
One more
this is the last
season,
season.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
then
2
where's he going
years.
to go?
MLS.
MLS.
We do
and
MLS,
play for
yeah.
what? 2 years?
2-3 years, maybe a guest in Argentina for a few games, just to
I
say,
don't see him going to Argentina.
just
no,
for like 3 or 4 games, just say you wore the jersey and that's it. He'll be done. He'll be done earlier than the
Ronaldo.
Cristianos and Zlatans of the world.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't think he needs to keep proving himself to his 40. Different kind of player. We speak about Pele, we speak about Maradona. I don't know how old Di Stefano was when he retired, how old Cruyff was, but we look at these players in the peak. Brazilian Ronaldo, for example, another one didn't go too far.
No.
I don't think he needs to keep proving himself the next 5 years in order to be considered the GOAT. So I think he's done enough to be in the
Yeah.
discussion.
Fair comment. Funny you mentioned Brazilian Ronaldo. I was speaking to my cousin who's 18, and he said, if you could pick a striker in a five-a-side team, who would you pick? And I said Ronaldo, and he goes, yeah. And I said, no, the original Ronaldo 9. And he goes, not CR7. And I go,
Oh my
no,
God, here we
Ronaldo
go.
9. And he goes, you're a fucking idiot, this and that. And I'm like, listen, you haven't seen Ronaldo 9 in
That's
his
it.
peak. You said a striker, a pure striker. I said Ronaldo 9. And he goes, what do you mean? CR7 will score you goals, however you want. I'm like, but you don't understand how good this guy was. And I said, just go back and look at him. Go back and look at everyone that's managed him and has managed both players. For example, Mourinho. He's managed both players, and he says Ronaldo 9 is the best player he's ever seen.
We've discussed this.
Technical ability, just how he was. Nah, bullshit. You know what this? I said, bro, you're fucking 18. Go fucking read and come back to it.
YouTube
No,
videos.
I had the same exact argument a few weeks ago myself. Like, it's absolutely hilarious how now these older players from our era are being completely pushed aside for Ronaldo or even Messi.
Thanks, guys. See you around next week.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.